We're doing this for a little bit. Just a little bit. In 2001, a legendary game series was born, Gothic. In 2019, the series became part of THQ Nordic, and as huge fans of the original game, we began thinking and experimenting about what we could do with it. While exploring ideas, we realized that Gothic is still iconic, but simply doing a remake wouldn't work. Therefore, we tried a new approach, reimagining the whole thing. Famous last words. To be sure that this is the way to go, we decided to approach the situation a totally unique way. We want to give you an early prototype of the game and ask for your thoughts and feedback. We want to make this game great for you. You guys all have feedback went. Oh my god. Anyways, I'm not going to read all this. Welcome to the colony again. I tried playing this a bit last night. There's some good and there's a lot of bad, but there is some good. I'm glad that they're redoing it, but I want you guys to experience this as well. Let me make sure the volume isn't horrible. And I also kind of wanted to show it to you now because Gothic 1, for those of you who have seen it, should be fresh in your head. Relatively fresh. So, yeah.
The Kingdom of 24MAR, united by King Robar II. During the long years of his reign, he was able to defeat all foes of his realm. All except one.
I'm aware the volume's low, and it's just the game.
The war against the orcs took its toll, and the prisoners of the realm were to pay the price. The king needed swords for his army, and every man guilty of a crime, no matter how insignificant, was forced to work in the ore mines of Korinis. To make it impossible for them to escape, the king sent out the best magicians of the kingdom to create a magic barrier around their entire valley. But something disturbed the delicate structure of magic. We were trapped inside our own barrier. The convicts took control of Korinis. The king had no choice. He had to negotiate. He needed the ore. But his former slaves now demanded a high price. Month after month, the king supplied everything the prisoners needed in exchange of tons of ore, until the present day. Another convict was brought to the lift. He did not know, but he would change everything.
I hate the color of the nameless hero's hair in this, especially in the beginning part, because it makes no sense that his color of his hair changes so much. You'll see what I mean. God, this is a long load. It starts out looking white, and it bugs the hell out of me because he seems like a knockoff Geralt, and it makes no sense.
Low risk, high return, they said. You'll never get caught. Of course. Now it's just you and me, my friend. No weapons, no food, just a simple scrap. What's happening down there? What the?
I drop it, make it hot.
That was close.
Oh yeah, no, his hair is like an auburn color. That's what it really bugs me about what his hair looks like right now in this lighting. It's actually auburn. It's like a reddish brown.
Alright, easy. Oh, this is gonna... Oh, god damn it. What the hell just happened? Oh, I'm in one piece. Oh, thank God, no blood. Oh, where's the scroll? Oh, it's all right. Great, okay. Let's move on. Right. Let's light this up. Oh, good. That'll do, I hope. Where are we? What a mess. What's going on here? God. Let's get the hell out of here.
Real quick, addressing what you guys said. By the edgy screen, by the way, here. His hair has been like 3 different colors, and this was seen alone. So different from the OG intro. I prefer the OG intro a little bit. I don't necessarily mind the change, but I think it's unnecessary. And what ends up going on throughout the rest of it is also unnecessary. What happened to the background in there? Explosion happens behind you, blood. Let's light a torch so we can see through all the fire. I thought that it was hysterical too. Then everyone died. PF smoke inhalation. I don't mind his accent, Mike. It doesn't bother me. I think that's more just the voice actor. I think it's a little ridiculous that we're talking about a penal colony and he literally has an Australian accent. I couldn't stop laughing when I realized that. Also, number one graphical thing, I'm going to point it out first and you're not going to be able to unsee it, that bugs me. Why does the torch have a lens flare? Sounds like a fake British accent to me, to you. That's what Australian accents are. Didn't you know? Didn't know I could go up here. Why is everything so shiny this main Unity? I actually didn't pay attention to what the engine was. There was a lot of rough criticism off of this playable teaser to where they basically said they were going back to the drawing board and a lot of things from what I understand. And they're redoing a lot of it, including, I think, the Nameless Heroes design. I don't necessarily mind his design, but I do feel like he has way too much on his person for someone that's supposed to start off with the bare minimal. Because that's what the original game was. I don't necessarily mind them reimagining the world, but at the moment, I know his hair's not white, but in this lighting, it definitely looks white. And to me, he seems like an edgy knockoff of Geralt. And I think that's incredibly unnecessary because it doesn't make him stand out as a character. I don't mind the man bun, honestly, because honestly, the original character has a ponytail. Like a very tiny ponytail, so the man bun's totally fine for me. Wasn't I? I'm supposed to go this way. I'm fucking around too much. But the bloom effects, the lens flare effects, oh my god. The one thing you'll also notice is there's severe camera shake, especially during the combat scenes. Like, Isaac would not be able to play this. Look at how the camera's slightly moving. Isaac would get motion sick. They need to be able to turn that off, and that's not an option. There's also motion blur, and it's not able to be turned off within this.
Good.
Yeah, lighting is way too bright, period. All lighting is way too bright. I don't like what they did with the overall with the lighting of it.
What the heck's going on? Oh, shit. Oh, god damn it. Let's get the hell out of here.
The other thing I'm going to preface right now, which you'll hear more of, he narrates way too much shit. He needs to shut up.
God, what the hell? This place, some people's luck is worse than mine. Let's see. I'll leave it here for a moment. Right. You don't mind if I take this with me, do you? I need it more than you do at the moment. Come on, my pretty. Come with me. Oh, God damn it. Shit. It's broken. Well, this is better than nothing, I guess. Okay, easy, boy. Let's make it easy for both of us. Okay, calm down. Worst prison ever. Definitely. I have to get out of here as soon as I can.
Bloom, motion blur, and VSync are the worst. Definitely unless the game doesn't let you disable them. Mike, do you know what VSync is? Like, VSync's not the worst. VSync is pretty damn good and necessary in a lot of cases, and I turn it on whenever I can. VSync is a vertical synchronization within the game itself. It keeps the screen from tearing when you do things like this. If you don't have VSync enabled, the game loads things as you're seeing them and can cause screen tearing. That's more of an issue. The screen tearing is what's bad. VSync stops that. Bloom, I don't necessarily mind when it's not overused. Here, it's overused. Bloom just needs to be toned down severely. Motion blur, I personally don't mind motion blur, but I definitely see the argument against it, and I don't have any problems with turning it off, and typically I turn it off in general. I've gotten used to not playing with motion blur. It doesn't bother me, but at the same time, I feel like the option to turn it off is necessary. And you guys criticizing him attaching the sword, this is not the first video game character that's done that. At least he doesn't strap it to his back. Like, that one I don't criticize. I do find it a little funny that he doesn't have anything to hold it onto, but every single video game character on the face of the planet just puts the sword on their back, and it's like it magnetically attaches to their shoulder blades. Like, at least Geralt in Witcher 3 had scabbards. At least he had scabbards.
What the hell? Damn, man, what a mess. Come on.
Please stop floating up from his back. I do find it.
Please, it can't be real. Hello? You've already had your time. Then I'll be on my way. I won't be bothering you. Okay, easy now. There's nothing to worry about. Okay, stay where you are. Don't make me hurt you. Oh, let me go. Well, you guys asked for it.
You always turn off VSync because it never does anything but causes games to lag. Yeah, VSync. So, Mike, VSync causes the game to typically use more video RAM. If you don't have a lot of video RAM on your graphics card, it will cause the game to lag. So a lot of people will say to turn it off if you have that as a problem. If you have enough video RAM on your video card, you want to keep it turned on because it actually makes the game better, and you see less to no screen tearing in your games. I tend to be pretty good about picking video cards with a decent amount of RAM that we can now keep it turned on most of our games, and I tend to make sure it's always on. If a game is lagging too much for me, I will turn it off. I prefer it on. But yeah, if that's the reason that you end up turning it off, I totally understand that, because like I said, I've seen that before. I used to never have it on because it used to lag me too much. Okay, so first thing I'm going to point out, 7 pages of combat. I will preface this. From what I've tried of it, combat's actually pretty decent and very close to the original. So you move R to change your pose. You're changing your pose is basically the same as the original game, where you ended up swinging left, right, or just straight up forward. You just use the right joystick to determine that. Seems cumbersome, but I actually got used to it very quickly. Fast attack is right button. Strong attack is right trigger. You have a stamina bar on this one, so it does end up mattering. Blocking, you just need to match the same swing. I haven't really done that yet, so I haven't been able to see that. It doesn't really work against actual monsters. You have a dodge button, which will end up taking up more stamina than just blocking, but it will keep you from being hit at all. And you can change target by pressing the right stick. I don't know how I necessarily feel about that, but whatever. And you can block from non-targeted enemies, which you really couldn't do beforehand. So combat actually seems pretty decent, and I kind of hope that they keep it to an extent. This is not going to be a good thing with it. First thing I'm going to say before I even see it. Do they make this for Honor? I had someone else that told me it was very similar to that. But the original Gothic had a very similar combat system that, like, it's very much based off of the original Gothic system, and if For Honor just helped them figure out how to do it, then that works well. One thing I'm going to notice, the camera shakes too much during combat. Like, this annoys the hell out of me. I'm not trying, because you're supposed to fail at this. They're snappers. There's no way you're going to, like, fight a snapper. I don't like changing targets. I don't think the changing targets is compelling. And I also don't like the hit bars above all the heads. I don't like the bars and the stamina seeing all of them. It's annoying.
What are you waiting for?
Bodhi!
Have you had enough?
Come here.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's Diego.
Congratulations on surviving your first day.
I feel like I should be wearing old-fashioned 3D glasses with that lighting. Zorro's here. It's a good representation of Diego.
Good morning. I hope you slept well.
Oh, good morning. Yes, I believe I did. Although I don't remember very much of what happened yesterday.
You discovered the local fauna. Those beasts are very violent at night.
Casually sharpening a piece of wood, what for?
They're somewhat more docile during the day. Luckily, I arrived to hunt something for breakfast. Better than you, eh? Their meat is a bit tough, but it tastes better than rookie meat.
I don't necessarily like the first-person mode suddenly.
By the way, we haven't been introduced. My
Sharpen a piece of wood to
name is
burn it.
Diego, and I'm the leader of the shadows in the old camp. Yeah, that's not important. You're a convict in the colony now. New prison, new life. That's what people say, anyway. I'm gonna call you Rookie. All right with you?
Hey, that scroll belongs to me.
Yes. I borrowed it while you were asleep. Don't worry, Rookie. I'll give it back to you when we leave. It's an unusual document. Normally, rookies come in here with scrolls listing their crimes. That legal formality is meaningless here. It doesn't matter what crimes you committed outside. You'll have plenty of time to work them off here. If you live long enough. Yours, on the other hand, is special. It's red and carries a lacquered seal. It's a scroll intended for mages.
Find out the value of the scroll. That just finished a quest. That doesn't make any sense why that just finished a quest. I like the original game, you're given the scroll just before you're sent down on the elevator. And first of all, the elevator isn't as tall in the original game. That might have been a graphical, limitation. I don't think it really matters how tall the elevator is. But you're basically sent down. You're not even sent down the elevator. You're kind of pushed in because it's not that far. And there's a giant magical barrier that's barring you from being able to get out and from anyone else from really wanting to go in anyways. But before you get pushed in, you're handed the scroll and you're basically told, wait, before you go in, do us a favor, hand this off to the fire mages. They will end up helping you in a result, and it'll be good for you kind of thing, and this needs to get to them. Instead, you just sort of have this scroll, and your character's just like, okay, oh, wow, what is this on me? And it's an arbitrary quest that you just complete just now, which makes no sense to me. It's mincing minor details. I don't really care, but to me, Diego taking it off of you while you're asleep kind of makes me like Diego a little bit less, but whatever.
What should I do with the scroll?
Well, rookie, there are things more dangerous than wild animals in this place. For example, the ambition of many prisoners and how little other people's lives are worth. In your place, I'd keep my mouth shut until I found one of the mages. Although in your situation, that's not likely to happen.
Why not?
The mages are in the castle of the old camp. The only way people can get in are Gomez's men. So, now you know. If you want to find them, first, you'll have to join the old camp. There's no other way.
Subtitles just can't catch up.
Well, I'll have to report yesterday's attack to Gomez shortly. But before we leave here, do you have any questions, rookie?
I'm fine with Diego's voice. I'm fine with Diego's character for the most part. He's a little less likable to me. See, the reason why I like Diego in the first one, actually, Diego in the first one, to me, I'm very neutral to him. The only reason I ended up liking him a little bit is because he's one of the few people that you deal with in the old camp that isn't a direct out-and-out asshole and actually is trying to look out for your well-being for the most of the time. But in actuality, he's just doing his normal duty. It's not until later on that you find out he's been having, like, meetings off to the side with Lester from the Swamp Camp and Milton from the Fire Mages, and who else was it from? I think it's Gorn from the new camp, where they've all been meeting together to try and deal with the crap that's been going on, that you end up, like, having a little bit of a like towards them. You learn to like them throughout the series from what I've seen. And they are constant, and they're always very likable to you.
Why did you help me?
You were in trouble, and I happened to be passing by. Call it honor. Call it justice. No one should have to fight without a decent weapon and a fair shot at winning. But above all, I helped you because you're a rookie. And my job is to give you rookies an opportunity. Look, rookie, the colony is very dangerous. And even more so at night. Never leave the camps without being properly equipped. Besides, all you newcomers have the curious habit of getting yourselves into trouble. But I won't always be around to help you. Speaking of trouble, the scavengers were about last night. Did you see the attack on the lift?
Yes, I was part of the cargo in the lift when it happened.
Very interesting. We're still investigating what happened and who was responsible. I think your testimony might be valuable. When we reach the old camp, you should speak to Gomez. I'm sure he'll be very interested in hearing what you have to say.
So what do I need to know about this place?
Let's start with the basics. We call it the colony, and we produce ore for the king. At least that's what we do at the old camp. Inside the barrier, there are 3 camps, and if you want to stay alive, you'll have to join one of them. The old camp is the largest and oldest of the 3. And, well, part of my job is also to tell the new arrivals that it's the best place for them.
There's a
You
lot of
mentioned someone
talking.
named Gomez. Who is he?
Gomez is the leader of the Ore Barons. He's the head of the old camp, the most powerful man in the colony. He's responsible for guaranteeing the ore shipment to the king and maintaining order in the only civilized zone inside this barrier. He's rather peculiar. A man of refined tastes and expensive indulgences. You'll see what I mean when you get to know him.
Something off with the cadence of his voice, like he's taking too long to pick out his words. You mean like he's doing a William Shatner? I kind of agree with that. He's a little slow in the way he ends up approaching his words. I don't want to continue talking to him because he will talk for forever, and I feel like the sequence just drags out way too long. I've actually seen someone exhaust all of these options on a YouTube clip before, and the conversation can go over 10 minutes. Hi, CF Goss. Goodbye. We're done. We're just taking a look at this. We're not doing a full
I don't
play.
have any more questions.
Don't mention it. It's always a pleasure. Hey, you showed promise in the fight, but that's not going to do much good without a weapon. And there are also lots of wild beasts between here and the camps. It would be folly to travel unarmed. You can start by taking a look around the exchange zone near the elevator. I'm sure you'll find something useful there. When you get a decent weapon, come back and we'll go to the old camp together.
We're not going to be doing the remake for long, CF Goss. We're taking a look at it because, well, 120 Brad is here and he likes a lot of newer games. 2, I only just yesterday found out that I had it. See, motion blur. It drives me the fuck insane. You can't turn it off in the demo. I'm not going to nitpick on that because it's a demo thing. There's a lot of other things you can nitpick on the game in general, which is why I'm liking that they're changing things. I don't necessarily like the look of everything, but Diego I'm fine with for the most part. I kind of feel like he could have been a little bit better, but shoulder shrug if he never really gets properly changed. I wish he would talk faster. But look at the hair of the nameless hero. Auburn. Why the fuck did it look white? Also, it's a little, everything's a little too shiny was something I ended up noticing. What are you shooting arrows at? We have limited resources here. And there goes another arrow. Also, why does Talk to Diego look all blurred out? There's something wrong with the lighting in this. Here's a blueberry. Okay, so one of the things that I had pointed out to me in the past is you need a map, buy one or find one at the colony. So you don't have a map. That's fine. Hold down left stick to sprint, exploration, stamina. Certain actions will take stamina, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to go over all that. You can sprint. That's fine. That's nice. I want to point this out. I can climb up this. It's up to my neck. Okay. You have stamina, so you can't run for too long. There's still meat bugs, and you can squish them this time. I did like that. I don't necessarily like all these windows that open up. Like, the UI feels too much... So the UI and the grittiness of the main character feels too much like Witcher, and I feel like it needs its own identity. So I'm kind of glad they're going back to the drawing board for a number of things, but they really need to get it its own identity. There's a chest down there. I never noticed that. Whatever. Kind of a personal taste thing, but given the setting, you feel like the UI looks too modern. It does look too modern. I don't like the UI. I don't like the UI. I don't like how when you get into combat, you have this bar that appears above your head. I do not like this bar. Wait, was that the battle music? Why did that sound like The Witcher? Oh, God. Be original! Oh, no. We're not going after wolves. I don't think that'll do well. Oh, look how high we jump. Anyways, I want to try and find this one area that I found when I was futzing around on my own. Just because I was trying to show you how high up you could climb. So I could climb up that thing that was up to my neck. I feel like I could explore more in the original. Everything's so washed out. You don't even use bars like that in MMOs. Definitely don't want them in a single-player game. I think it takes you out of the element. I think there was a lot of criticism on the bars. I wouldn't be surprised if they go away. Combat itself with the, I think I'll be killed by them. Ow. Ow! Why does the wolf's fur look so different and odd? Okay, run away. Let's go. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Get away from me. Did they just reset? Like, magically reset? Are you fucking kidding me? Hopefully they'll work on lighting. I think they're working on a lot of things because the demo did not go over well. I mean, so graphically, it's... I can't even necessarily say it's fine. It's the lighting and whatever this filter they have going on really takes me out of the setting. Because it kind of hurts to look at. Like, why is it so fucking bright? Like, you can go into options, you can go to video. Gamma's all the way down. Now everything's really dark. Still too bright. You were distracted by everything going on. I didn't register the weird ass combat music. Here you go. Just pull out your sword and he does it. It sounds like The Witcher. Where the fuck is the barrier? It's right there. You can see the ripples, but yeah, because of the lighting, it's really hard to see. You can see it. The barrier's there. I don't want the barrier to stand out like it did in the first game. The first game was a little bit too much, but the way they do the lighting in this, you can't see that ripple effect properly unless you really look for it. And even then, I really should see some blue sky with the distortion of the barrier more than anything. It's so fucking annoying. Here's the one thing that bugged me when I was fucking with this last night. There's stuff hidden on these stairs. You can jump up these. You just have to keep trying. Can't do it from here, but if you run sideways... That's bad. Here's crouch. Jump. Crouch, jump. Look, I've gotten used to the fact that Piranha Bytes, a lot of their games, what I've touched to them, are pretty glitchy and have problems. But this particular demo doesn't have an excuse to be this bad. Like... Oh, he actually jumped up there. I'm surprised. He's all fine with getting up there. What about here? Oh, he's fine there. He's fine there. Now he's suddenly fine. Maybe it's because I was running. Can they go for something like... That is my big problem. Can they go for something less like Witcher? I don't know why they feel so necessary. So The Witcher has such an iconic feel and sound and look to it. Even this screen reminds me too much of Geralt. This is not supposed to be The Witcher. This is supposed to be Gothic. Gothic has its own feel. This does not need to have Edgy McEdge fire background. Like, the only other thing I'm going to show, because one of the iconic things that is in the Gothic franchise is being able to do whatever the fuck you want. So this is the guy that we first dealt with. Can we search him? Loot him. Now we can loot him. I got a pick lock. Why don't they talk about... Why do they always call it a pick lock in the Gothic games instead of a lockpick? I feel like that's just a translation thing. I do like how there's like stuff lying around similar to the original Gothic, like exploration actually gives you stuff, which is nice. I like how the wilderness area feels a little wildernessy because the trees are decently close together, so I feel like forests will actually feel like forests. But again, lighting sucks. People like to create unnecessary rivalry. The thing is, Gothic doesn't need something else to lean up against. Gothic as a series can stand up on its own. It's already proven that over, like, so I was looking up stuff before. So Gothic 3 was heavily criticized when it first came out. And it's not even considered like one of the favorite ones by most people's standards because of a lot of the bugs and the way it ends up playing and how messy it is. Gothic 3 was still considered a critical success. It sold something like, I think I read it was 500,000 units within its launch period, I think the first 3 months, and then it sold another additional 100,000 at some other point. I forget the whole thing that I ended up reading about that. But it was basically considered a commercial success, despite the fact that it's considered so buggy and it was a mess, pushed out the door, and was not considered anywhere near as polished as Gothic 1 or Gothic 2. Gothic 3 was still a huge success. Gothic can stand on its own. Okay, again, I'm going to point this out. Gothic franchise, you can do whatever the fuck you want, you have to deal with the consequences. That was always a big thing, especially within Gothic 1 and 2. You need a new weapon. Here's a weapon.
What do you think you're doing, rookie?
Okay, I'm sorry. My mistake. It won't happen again.
What do you think you're doing, rookie?
Okay, I'm sorry. My mistake. It won't happen again.
Well, Gothic 1 taught me one thing. If I want something, take it. That was bad.